Hello and welcome to Dharma Inc.'s Primal Ayurveda site. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Primal Ayurveda is. If you're new to what Ayurveda is, let me start from the very beginning. Ayurveda means the science of life, and it is a health, longevity, and medical science that was developed in India by the sages some 5,000 to 10,000 years ago. It is an amazing system which emphasizes preventative health care and teaches a person how to have a daily routine to develop really robust health. Of course, it is a medical system when it needs to be, when someone needs treatment for an illness or surgery and so forth, all this was done as well. But Primal Ayurveda that we teach on the Dharma Inc. site is mostly about preventative health care and understanding your body and its cultivation through Ayurvedic practices to be a foundation of the spiritual path, to be a foundation of just enjoying life. If you have Ayurvedic knowledge, you have a much better foundation for yoga, for your Adi Yoga practice, for exploring Sauhu teachings and therapy, for basically practicing Shaktashaiva Dharma itself. So Ayurveda traditionally was a very important part of yoga, and you'll see Ayurveda referred to in many of the ancient tantric yoga texts. The use of Ayurveda in spiritual practice is very important. Through becoming sensitive and aware to our body, its energies, its need for certain foods at certain seasons of the year, and so on, we develop great awareness and great sensitivity of ourself. And we understand how the self is malleable and changeable, not a discrete entity or an object. Ayurveda allows us this self-awareness and the ability to understand fully our relationship to nature and to the universe. This is a fantastic foundation for spiritual practice. So not only are we getting health and longevity and able to enjoy life more because of that, we're getting a great foundation for our spiritual practice as well. Now, how does Primal Ayurveda differ from normal Ayurveda? Well, Ayurveda has been around for a very long time, 5,000 to 10,000 years, and it's undergone changes based on what culture it's ended up in, what religion it was influenced by, and so on. A very, very original Ayurveda was in India and was practiced by people who were not vegetarians and who were working very hard and were, hunter-gatherer and the beginning of agriculture at the same time. So there was a very different atmosphere when originally Ayurveda was developed. The religious atmosphere it developed in was very different than now as well. It was the original Vedic religion, which was not vegetarian. They were cattle ranchers, basically. So Ayurveda then went under many changes over a few thousand years as it was influenced by waves of Buddhist thought and waves of Advaita Vedanta thought. These are philosophical religious thought in India that were very transcendentally oriented. I think Ayurveda changed in such a way that it became basically that it lost a little bit of its root. Yeah? So Primal Ayurveda is an attempt to recalibrate Ayurveda just back to what it really was in its first essence, in its inception, where it was much more a system of understanding our natural relationship with the universe, understanding what is natural for a human being. And if we learn to live in those natural cycles, follow our natural appetites, not our distorted or perverted appetites from conditioning, but if we follow our natural appetites, we will basically gain great health and longevity. So the Primal Ayurveda emphasizes a different type of diet, which you might think is influenced a little bit or swinging towards the paleo diet side or primal diet side, in other words, hunter-gatherer type of eating. And it's true, the Primal Ayurveda does emphasize a more holistic idea of diet and does not lay a moral judgment on a meat-eating diet. Yeah? Also, there's a greater emphasis on exercise. Not yoga practice. Yoga practice, in our experience here, is one that should be for our spiritual development. And yes, it'll maintain our health and give us a certain level of fitness. But human beings actually, by design, were created to have more intense exercise for brief periods of time as we hunted and gathered. That type of exercise can be duplicated with more modern understanding of exercise. So we include in the modern understanding of Primal Ayurveda an actual throwback to the original, where we emphasize a stronger type of exercise routine in a person's daily life if you have the physical capacity to do so, if you're not limited by injuries, illness, or age. And we also emphasize bringing modern nutrition understanding into Primal Ayurveda as well. What are the scientific breakthroughs around modern nutrition? Now, many of these scientific breakthroughs back up the principles of Ayurveda. In fact, all of them can find a place in Ayurveda, so it's nothing new. But Primal Ayurveda is just the next step in Ayurveda, where we're looking at exercise again, we're looking at the nutrition and diet again in a new way, which actually throws back to the old way. So it's sort of an original take on Ayurveda, but it seems to be new. So this is Primal Ayurveda. I encourage you to explore it. It's taught in 1-week self-care courses or 1-month self-care courses, and we can also become a Primal Ayurveda health advisor. There's professional training for that as well, which is 2 months long. So do your best to have a look at it and enjoy it and apply it in your life, and I'm sure you'll see wonderful changes, all for the better. Namaste.